I'm giving the first report. I'll take
It
about.
said that
3
there
hours.
was an error.
Okay.
Yours
Fine.
is already, yours is broadcasting.
How do you boil down 10 days of meetings,
I don't know.
12 days of meetings into a blip?
Hey, the signs, oh my gosh.
Oh, no, there's no sheep and cows and horses, so we have got a problem.
Oh, no, we put it on the hallway. It looks nice.
Oh, you better
A little
give me
bit of a
this.
technical issue here, do we, Mary?
Yeah, the chairman is my technical issue.
Little IT.
I'm gonna get out and go back in.
Looks very nice. Good job, Chairman.
It took 2
Figure this
years,
out,
but we
though.
got her.
I'm gonna speak for that Waldman, huh? Cow, sheep, and a horse.
Yeah.
Well, it's better
We're
than
gonna put them
nothing.
over there by that thermostat. There's a couple 4x6s.
Yeah.
They look really nice. So.
It turned out pretty good.
So where'd you get them from?
It's not working.
Online. Acrylic, no one does acrylic around here.
Does your wife know how to get it? Or you get it?
No, because it's a special type of plastic.
Oh, great. So how am I gonna get them? Give me the link. Even a wild horse, maybe I would concede. Wild horse, a cow, and a sheep.
And your broadcast is on.
I would have put them a little bit lower, but other than that, I think they look
Yeah.
good.
Well, no go. Sorry, you guys have called off today.
You thought it was gonna be a quick meeting.
Exactly.
Not my fault.
It is IT, Mary.
Good.
He's got a pretty good staff, but I think probably,
District.
I talked to him for quite a while over at the conference. He didn't look good.
We will call this meeting to order October 1st, 2024. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation.
Sorry for the delay there. More IT fun. And we do have a quorum present today with all 5 commissioners in attendance. Commissioners, we do need to amend the agenda before you this morning. The first is to add and ratify the MOU for the industrial siding Dry Creek Trona Project Impact Assistance, which will place under the consent agenda under B9, so it'll be B10. And at the very end of the agenda, under tab B, we'll add item number 9, which is a proclamation for domestic violence. And lastly, also under tab B on the action and presentation items, we've got item 8, which is the University of Wyoming Extension MOU discussion. Back in, I believe it was July, we discussed both the MOU and the compensation agreements. At that time, we tabled both of them. And so we have the MOU in the packet, but we will need to also act on the compensation agreements. So if we could add that to the agenda, then we will take that up at that time as well. So with those 3 changes, I would ask for any questions or needed clarification.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Richards,
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended by Commissioner Richards. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Second.
Oh,
We have a proper second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. Next up is county resident comments and concerns. If there's anyone in the audience or online that would like to address the governing body, now is the appropriate time. And good morning, Treasurer Cowan.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Just wanted to stand up and publicly thank Clerk Lane for all the hard work she did to organize the Wyoming Association of County Officials meeting last week. It was very successful. We had a great time. The treasurers were able to gather and learn and spend time together, which is always valuable. So thank you, Clerk Lane. Appreciate that. I also brought back a little bit of data from that. In front of you today is the report from the Department of Revenue on the property tax rebate program. So if you remember this program, this is where people in the county can apply for a refund of up to half of their property taxes. And so this last year, they increased the amount that you could earn in order to qualify for the program up to 165% of AMI. So, or I think that's what it is. I was up really late last night driving back from a family emergency, so my brain's on just very few fumes today. So, but anyway, we did have a significant increase. If you look at Sweetwater County last year, we had 282 applications. This year, we had 588 applications. We spent a lot of time pushing the program. We think it was very successful this year. But you can see kind of what the other counties did and how that program worked. So I just wanted to report that back to you. We will have that program again this year. So that it's a 2-year program. So the legislature has approved it. They did budget $20 million for the program. They expended $14.2 million. So they will have to go back to the governor and ask for a little bit more money for the program to run this year. One other program, I know the assessor has been in speaking frequently about it. We have been working as well to try and get applications for the 50% property tax discount for long-term homeowners. And so that program is still operational and we're getting applications for those. The application period for this won't open again until May. So, and then also next week, we will have the economic developers and Chamber of Commerce's all here next week in Sweetwater County. So the Wyoming Economic Development Association will be all at the events complex gathering. So we've had a lot of great opportunities in Sweetwater County to present what we have here and to the rest of the state. So it's pretty exciting next week as well. I'll stand for any questions if you have any.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. We appreciate you bringing this forth, and pretty alarming numbers to sit back and compare, especially compared to last year before the program took over or took place. So we appreciate that. Any questions or comments, commissioners?
Thank you.
Thanks for keeping us in the loop. We are still under the county resident comments and concerns portion of the agenda. If there's anyone else, either online or in the audience, that would like to address the governing body, now would be the appropriate time. Seeing and hearing none, we'll go ahead and close the county resident comments and concerns portion of the agenda. Commissioners, this is going to move us right along to tab A, which is the consent agenda. After the amendment, we will now have 10 items on the consent agenda. The first being the approval of the September 17th regular county commission meeting, approval of the September 20th special, did I say city council right there?
No.
Okay, good. The special meeting for September 20th minutes, the approval of the county vouchers, warrants, and expenditure approval listings, approval of bonds, approval of human service agreements, a request to restaff a position within the sheriff's office, a request to restaff a vacant position in the county attorney's office, ratifying a letter of support to recommend the Community Fine Arts Center as a resource and cultural hub for our community, and to ratify comments on the U.S. Forest Service proposed amendments to the land management plans to address the old growth forests across the national forest system and draft environmental impact statements. And lastly, there was that item we added, which was to ratify the MOU for the industrial siding Dry Creek Trona project impact assistance. With that, commissioners, I would ask if there's any requests to remove any of the items from the consent agenda. If not, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Richards,
move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
we have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Richards. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Slaughter. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. It's going to move us right along into commissioner comments. Commissioner Toman, the floor is yours.
I'm having technical difficulties, so I will have to send my computer away. But I have written notes, so we are good to go. After our last meeting on September 17th, I traveled to Pinedale to attend the Bureau of Land Management Resource Advisory Council 2-day meeting, which I'm a member representing county commissioners. We adopted and submitted to the BLM a wild horse resolution. On Wednesday, we conducted a tour of projects. One was a reclamation of an old blown out reservoir using Biden's infrastructure funds. They will get 3.3 million over the next 3 years, and an aspen treatment in Black Canyon west of Big Piney with various methods of conifer removal. Streams were being stabilized with a unique beaver dam. They were creating beaver dams or reinforcing beaver dams to hold the water in the ground. I handed you a high desert district hot topics. Each district manager provides a quarterly report to the RAC as to all of the projects and activities that they are involved in. So if you want to know what's happening in the High Desert District, I've given you a 5-page sheet. It's a great summary. The acting district manager for the High Desert District will be Frank Keeler, our former fireman. He will be in that position for 1 year. On September 20th, Friday, I came back to Green River to attend the Wyoming Landscape Conservation Initiative local work group meeting, the local projects. There's no new BLM funding for projects, but the Wyoming Department of Agriculture has agreed to act as a funding agent for grants and is seeking good neighbor authority to do so. The best part about this WLCI, it's been in process for 20 years, is that they do a lot of leveraging and partnering to get projects on the ground in this highly impacted area of Southwest Wyoming. It's 19 million acre area. September 20th, that same day, I attended the county's special work session regarding the BLM resource management plan and our protest letter. Thanks to our team, Danielle Betancourt, John DeLeon, and Eric Bingham. Good job, guys. On September 24th to the 26th, last week, I attended the Wyoming Association of County Elected Officers in Rock Springs. Special thanks to Cindy Lane and Sally and the team for putting together an awesome event. Also, thanks to Candy Pendleton, the Sweetwater Events Complex for providing a great facility. A few of the highlights, I won't talk about everything because my fellow commissioners, I have to leave something for them. There was so much happening, it's hard to boil it all down. But anyway, it started out with the invocation by Father Bill Hill, and he recited an old, I don't know what you call it, a prayer from George Washington to the president, to the Congress, to the state and elected officials. And it was timely that our main speaker was Peter Cressy, Director of Leadership Programs at the Washington Leadership Institute, again focusing on George Washington and how to deal with crisis and change. He was comparing all of the challenges that he had as a leader and challenging us as leaders to control fear and anxiety. Misinformation spreads quickly. Great teachers manifest resolve and determination. Then he quoted Winston Churchill, who said that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Collaboration and compromise require civility, and it requires patience and persuasion. Any strategic plan must address potential change. Our state elected officials addressed the group. We had great Tronamine tours for the commissioners. I went to American Genesis to tour their secondary recovery solution mining process. Thanks to Fred Von Aaron and the other Tronamines for doing a great job of hosting that. We had great food and great meetings. The commissioners met at the airport one night and Bunning Hall another, hosted by Rock Springs Caterpillar. Next year, the convention will again be in Rock Springs, September 23rd to 25th. And there were a lot of meetings in between that I did not cover. It's hard to boil down 2 weeks worth of work into 2 minutes, Chairman. On Sunday, I decided that I should attend one of the Sweetwater Downs horse races so I would have a better understanding of how that process works. I met Eugene Joyce, president of the Wyoming Horse Racing Association, and heard from some of the people who work behind the scenes in the stable, so I will have some productive comments for the events complex master plan. Overall, there was a lot of excitement for the racing program. This visit gave me a better perspective on Sweetwater County's role in approving Horse Palace and 307 Wyoming betting facilities. My niece selected the winning horse in one of the races, but she couldn't bet, but somebody bet for her, so she won $6. But here are all the stats on the horses. It's unbelievable to figure out how you can pick a winner out of this. They had 9 races, and I would recommend anyone go. It's cheap family entertainment, and if you want to spend some money, you might even win. And just a little hint, my niece selected their class rating. That's how it helped her clue her into who might be the winners in each race. But there it tells how they performed in the last races, and it's very interesting. September 30th, yesterday, I stopped by the county attorney's office downstairs to wish Teresa Tebow, our deputy county attorney, wish her well on her new venture in Gillette. We're going to miss her. October 2nd, I will be going out into the highway gas and grazing allotment along the Big Sandy River with the BLM staff to conduct annual rangeland monitoring. I will also be joining Devin Brubaker, Jim Wamsley, and Mayor Mickelson for the airport board funding requests, the $5 million loan and the $2 million grant from the State Land Investment Board. They will be in Cheyenne, but I will try to join via phone or Zoom. So I have to find a high hill out there in the desert. Remind everyone, Jeannie Demas is retiring at the sheriff's office. Her farewell is at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, October 2nd. Best wishes to her for a great retirement, and thanks for her, I believe, 41 years of service. October 3rd at 4 p.m., the Conservation District Board meets at Golden Hour. October 4th at 9 a.m., federal partners meet at the Chamber of Commerce. October 5th, I will be heading to the Little Prospect Hills along the Sweetwater River to ship lambs for the family ranch. So that is my report.
Thanks, Commissioner Tillman. Any questions for Commissioner Tillman's report? If not, Commissioner Richards, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. After our meeting on the 16th, I joined Commissioner Slaughter as well as Land Use Director Bingham and Deputy County Attorney DeLeon
There's my-
in a meeting to review impact assistance requests for the Dry Creek project. In keeping with his reputation, Eric scheduled us for 2 hours and we finished up after about 4. It was a productive meeting though, and we covered a lot of ground. Unlike Project West, the applications we received from county agencies combined with county sponsored entities went way beyond the available impact funds. So we had to make some difficult decisions about what we would negotiate for when it came to the MOU meeting on the 27th. We continued the discussion when I joined the team again remotely on the 23rd, where we buttoned up our applications and discussed our strategy for negotiating with the other counties and towns at the MOU meeting. Finally, on the 27th, I chaired the MOU meeting here in the Commissioners' meeting room. Before the meeting, though, we hosted 3 smaller meetings. The first was at 8:30 with Rock Springs, Green River, and the smaller towns in Sweetwater County to agree on how much each entity was willing to accept in the process. Then we met with Lincoln County at 9 a.m. and Uintah County at 9:30 to get an idea of their expectations in the process. Finally, at 10, we called the MOU meeting to order and spent the next hour negotiating with all the counties and towns that were identified as potentially impacted by the industrial siting division. Initially, after polling all the counties and municipalities, we had a shortfall of about $3 million. And after a round of voluntary cuts, we ended up with an average of a little more than $1.1 million over. I made suggestions for the redistribution of the overage back to the communities that took the deepest cuts in the volunteer round. And at the end, there was an additional $50,000 left, and it was recommended that that amount go to Sweetwater County. So we added that to our total request. In the end, we unanimously agreed to an MOU totaling $34,899,195.17 to submit to the Industrial Siting Council. That included $1,360,500 in requests for Lincoln County and its municipalities, which was 3.9% of the total. $4,619,354.57 in requests for Uintah County and its municipalities, 13.24% of the total, and $28,919,340.60 for Sweetwater County and its municipalities, which was 82.87% of the total. That breaks down to $386,789 for Granger, $6,587,791 for Green River, $12,292,143 for Rock Springs, $212,328 for Superior, and $9,440,999 for Sweetwater County and its sponsored entities. Sweetwater County's share includes requests for Sweetwater County Public Works, the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Department, Sweetwater County Fire, Fire District Number 1, Combined Communications, Memorial Hospital, Southwest Counseling, and Castle Rock Hospital District. We split that so far about half. We haven't determined the final breakdown of our share, but we will button that up over the next month and let individual agencies and entities know what our final decisions are. But for now, some of the pressure is off because we don't have a deadline looming for another 6 weeks or so. I know some of those outside entities hope to see larger amounts coming their way, but there simply was just not enough money to go around. So their applications had to be cut significantly. Going forward on the Dry Creek project, our exhibits will be due to the council on November 19th. The pre-hearing conference will be on November 22nd, and the industrial siting hearing for the application will be here in Green River on December 3rd and 4th. Apparently, they're doing it a little differently this time compared to Project West. And instead of each community doing an in-person presentation, we will all provide written presentations and just be available for questioning from the council. Should mean that it'll be a less time-consuming process than the last hearing, but we'll see how it works functionally and how it affects the distributions. I'm confident that Sweetwater County's applications will be airtight and we will see a higher percentage of approval. I want to thank Commissioner Slaughter for his input and support through this process. His presence through it has been invaluable. I also want to thank Eric and John for the enormous amount of work they've already put into this, and there is so much more ahead. I'd also like to thank Clerk Lane and Sally for keeping us organized and on track. And finally, I want to thank all the communities that we worked with to reach the agreement. Many communities around the state with fewer parties involved have been unable to reach agreements on an industrial siting MOU. While we were more than willing to do that if we had to, going into the hearing with the unanimously agreed to MOU gives our applications a lot more credibility. And if we can hash out our differences ahead of time rather than in front of the council, we all win. Moving on to other subjects, on the 18th, I remotely attended a housing task force meeting, as well as an in-person SEDS project update with our grants director. On the 19th, I remotely attended the NACO West Region monthly update. And then, of course, on the 20th, I remotely attended the special county commission meeting here with all of you before heading into the wilderness of Yellowstone Park for a week with my family. On the 26th, I was back anyway for the MOU meeting, so I also attended the reception with the governor at the Bunning Freight Station. Then yesterday, I attended the monthly meeting with the Joint Powers Combined Communications Board. Interesting note there, they applied for a right-of-way to access one of their facilities out by Wamsutter with the Rollins BLM field office. And it took them 3 years to receive that right-of-way through the BLM, 3 years to get a simple right-of-way. They're waiting on another one in the same location for another purpose, and hopefully that comes soon. And then they also have pending ones with the Rock Springs field office. Going forward, I want to remind everyone that the Library Foundation is unveiling their Story Walk installation at the Green River Recreation Center tonight at 5:30. And I encourage everyone to attend. It's a permanent installation on the Barbara Carroll Memorial Pathway that allows readers to enjoy a book page by page as they enjoy the great outdoors. Tomorrow, I'll attend a Housing Task Force meeting and a SEDS project update. And on Thursday, I plan to attend the Enterprise Coalition meeting as well as the monthly SCORC meeting. On Friday, I'll attend the Federal Partners meeting at the Rock Springs Chamber of Commerce. On the 9th, I'll attend the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting as well as the monthly WCCA conference calls. On the 10th, I'll attend the SEDC Advisory Board meeting. And then on the 14th, I'll be on KREO radio for my monthly update. That brings me full circle back to see all of you here on the 15th. And there's one last thing I want to mention, and that's how much better it looks in here with the photography on the walls showcasing Sweetwater County's industries. A big thank you to the individual industries for providing the photos, and a huge thank you to Chairman West for spearheading the project and getting it done. I know it wasn't an easy process. I think that is all I have for you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm happy to stand for any questions.
Thanks, Commissioner. Appreciate the report. Questions or comments for Commissioner Richards? Just wanted to commend your efforts for the industrial siting. I know during Waco last week, we ran into some of those different counties that we were trying to team up with on that MOU, and the initial conversations were much different from how it ended up in the end. So kudos to you and Rob and the team for getting everyone together and finding a compromise with that. I know originally it was pretty out of balance, and so that maybe was some good homework to help out with if that helped at all. But it's a pretty big task, and I think I said it the last time you stepped up and took the reins on that most people don't understand the amount of time and commitment and strategy going into that. And at the end, it's a benefit for everyone, and we look forward to the changes that bring forth ahead. So thanks for your efforts there.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the work all of you did during Waco to lay the groundwork for the negotiations. All of those conversations you had with those communities really did pay off and help. In the end, they came into the negotiations with much healthier expectations than I think they went into Waco with. So appreciate it.
Very good. Commissioner Jones, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the 18th, I attended the Pulse meeting where we received an update from the UW School of Energy, the BLM RMP regarding the Trona industry, and an update from Devin Brubaker, and the college also gave an update. On the 19th, I attended the Joint Powers Telecom Board meeting, just normal business there, so nothing too exciting to report. On the 20th, I joined you all for the BLM protest meeting. Appreciated being able to attend via Zoom. I know I've mentioned before, Land Use Director Bingham, Deputy County Attorney De Leon and Danielle Betancourt from the CLG and their hard work on the RMP, but would like to take a second, just yet one more time to thank all of you for your dedication and hard work. I really don't know where we would be without the three of you. So it's greatly appreciated and definitely noticed. You guys did a tremendous job of paying attention to all the details, showing how ridiculous the RMP is for what it really is, a document that breaks most or all policies, procedures, rules, laws, etc., and a document that'll be horribly detrimental to our jobs and way of life in Sweetwater County, even with the changes that were made for the FEIS. So thanks again to all three of you. I attended a meeting on the 20th from Minneapolis St. Paul Airport as I was on the way to Eagle River, Wisconsin to attend a very special induction ceremony over the weekend of the 21st and the 22nd. Pete Libby, Rocky Mountain Power Sports, was inducted into the International Snowmobile Hall of Fame as Snowmobile Dealer of the Year. This is the highest award a dealer can obtain and is obviously an international award. Pete started this path by being voted Dealer of the Year for the Wyoming State Snowmobile Association back in March. That moved him on to the running for Dealer of the Year for the American Council of Snowmobile Association, which he won that one. And then obviously went on to being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Pete's a huge asset to our county and the state of Wyoming. He excels in customer service and prides himself in mentoring high school aged youth, giving them skills they wouldn't otherwise obtain. Pete's always willing to donate a variety of fundraisers, both in and out of Sweetwater County. He's a true asset to the sport of snowmobiling across the state of Wyoming and the United States. I can't think of a more deserving individual for this prestigious award, so congratulations to Pete. On the 24th, 25th, and 26th, as was mentioned, we had Waco, attended a variety of different meetings there. Thanks to everyone who made this event possible. I did appreciate the conversations on sagegrass, cheatgrass, also hearing from Senator Barrasso on his Ranch Act. So good meetings, good time, very well put together. On the 25th, attended the Memorial Hospital Sweetwater County Finance and Audit meeting. Clifton Larson Allen took up a large portion of that meeting, reviewing the completed audit. The audit was very clean with no major issues discovered. So that was good news. Today is the day that the hospital goes live with critical access. So we'll see how that goes in the future. On the 26th, attended two meetings with Governor Gordon, one regarding the BLM RMP, and the other was the general update welcome reception for the governor. And that wraps up my report.
Thanks, Commissioner. Any questions for Commissioner Jones's report? If not, looks like I'm up next. I'm just kind of winging it today. On the 19th, I was invited to partake in a hot wings challenge with Western Wyoming Beverages. So look forward to that humor over the next couple of weeks when that video comes out. Some, I guess, marketing campaign they're doing and different challenges of, I believe it was 6 hot sauces. And yeah, there were some tears flowing at the end of that one. Pretty spicy stuff. So that'll be good entertainment for you all. On the 20th, obviously, we were here to attend the special meeting for the BLM protest. Just want to commend everyone for their efforts on that. Hopefully, it'll change some, I guess, future practices. I'm not holding my breath on that, but it is pretty obvious that there was a lot of work done, as we've mentioned several times, leading up to the sudden surprise a year ago. And so, if nothing else, I think it points to the fact that it doesn't do us much good being a cooperator if there isn't cooperation. So I hope the BLM will work a little bit, more unified with that and try and use those that are actually living and breathing these grounds. On obviously last week, the 24th, 5th, and 6th was the Waco convention here in Sweetwater. Definitely special thanks to Clerk Lane and Sally and all of those that made that happen. We got off pretty easy on that. But I thought it was very well put together and organized. I heard nothing but good things from people. I know the WCCA organized a few different mine tours, which was enjoyable. There's a lot of especially in our group, I guess, commissioners that had never been underground. There was one in our group that never even knew what Trona or soda ash was. And I think, for us, that seems kind of crazy given the amount of taxation it generates for the state. But when you're not living here every day, sometimes I think you may take that for granted. And anyway, it opened up some eyes with that. And I think it showcases a lot of what we are all proud of here. So I thoroughly enjoyed that and the different breakout groups and, the guest speakers and everything. It was a first for me. I missed last year's. So I look forward to next year's here in Sweetwater as well. It's a pretty unique opportunity. I too met with Governor Gordon, Commissioner Jones in regards to the BLM RMP. And obviously the governor has another 30 days to go over his consistency review. So it was more or less just trying to make sure he had all the information from us and that we were all on the same page like we've been throughout the process. And I guess we'll see where that goes to. We had a couple different dinner events, one at the airport, like Commissioner Toman pointed out. We had another at, I guess 2 more at Bunning Hall. And then the final wrap up at the events complex with some music bingo. I think that was a good wrap up for a long week of suits and rubbing elbows. So it's good to get everyone together and have some fun at the end of the day. On the 28th, it was my birthday. I did not receive any chocolates from Commissioner Toman, nor did I get a happy birthday.
Oh, heavens.
So since you mentioned that on yours, I thought I'd get even with that. Yesterday was my boy's birthday, turned the big 5 years old. So had a good time celebrating that over the weekend. I also attended the farewell for Chief Deputy County Attorney Teresa Tybo yesterday. We got that email or that news last week during Waco, and I think took some of us by surprise, but we certainly thank her for all of her dedication and service to Sweetwater County and wish her well as she heads up to Campbell. I did ask her to send back any pointers or advice she may learn up there, and she says, well, first off, you guys pay more than they do. So I guess that's kudos to Sweetwater County for trying to take care of the employees. Moving forward, the leadership lunch with the mayors and commission was supposed to be tomorrow. I just got an email here a few minutes ago that the mayors have other obligations. So we'll probably cancel that one for October and look into November on that. And I missed both Board of Health and the Southwest Counseling last week because of Waco. So I don't have a whole lot to report there. It looks like we'll be taking up one of the ARPA projects today for Southwest Counseling on their Ankeny facility that they approved the project bid for. And I got word that they also approved the agreement between us and them for this fiscal year. So things are moving forward with that. I believe for now, that is all I have, commissioners. Let's stand for any questions.
I object to the birthday thing. You mentioned your son's birthday several times. I never heard one mention of yours.
Secrets. Commissioner Slaughter, you're bringing up the rear.
Well, Mr. Chairman, as usual, I will have lots of redundancy, but I do want to start by stating after a several-week hiatus, the ISA process began again, and I was once again able to reignite my bromance with Commissioner Richards. So we're kind of back on again. I was a little worried about that for a little while. On the 17th, after the conclusion of our 9/17 commission meeting, Commissioner Richards and I met with Land Use Director Eric Bingham and Deputy County John De Leon to review the impact assistance request for the Pacific Soda Dry Creek Industrial Siting Funds. Requests were significantly higher than the maximum amount identified by the applicant, $34.9 million. We worked to identify places that we could decrease the requested amounts and most efficiently approach the siting council. On the 20th, as you've all stated, we met in a special meeting to discuss the letter of protest for the BLM. Once again, as you've all stated, I'm very hopeful that will do some good, but I don't hold my breath. On the 23rd, we once again met to review the industrial siting request and make plans for the preliminary MOU to be presented to the Industrial Siting Council. On the 24th through the 26th, as most of you or all of you did, attended the Wyoming Association of County Officials annual conference hosted at the Sweetwater County Events Complex. I felt that the meetings were an outstanding success and heard many comments on how well the conference was hosted. A special note was an afternoon tour that was organized for the county commissioners on Wednesday. Special thanks to all the members of our local Trona industry that helped make the tour a special memory for all of the county commissioners. Also, a big thanks to Clerk Cindy Lane, Sally Shoemaker, and the staff of the county that worked so hard to make this a successful event. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the job of Events Complex Director Candy Pendleton and her staff. They helped put on another first-class event. The night of the 26th, I also attended the reception with Governor Gordon. On the 27th, I attended meetings with our local municipal leaders to finalize the requested amounts that would be represented in the MOU to the Industrial Siting Council. Also met in separate meetings with representatives of Lincoln and Uinta counties to coordinate the MOU with their interests. It was an excellent example of collaboration between entities that are competing for funding to help our region prepare for financial impacts that will be felt with the expected impact of this project. Also attending the meeting held to finalize the MOU later that morning. Kudos to Land Use Director Eric Bingham and Deputy County Attorney John De Leon and the other staff members that helped provide information for the meeting. But once again, and you don't understand the breadth of this job, a special thanks to Commissioner Richards for conducting a meeting that was successful in bringing consensus to 16 separate interested parties, a task many felt would be difficult, if not impossible. As he stated, at the conference, I spoke with several people who were interested parties in our siting application, along with some of the commissioners that have been through this process with other communities. And it was universal that they had not been able to get MOUs done with their communities, but we were able to do that in large part due to Commissioner Richards and his dedication in doing this. On the 30th, I met with Public Works Director Legursky and Donna Tramp, Chairman of the Miracle League of Sweetwater County, to clarify what would be expected of the Miracle League in further approaching the commission on their plans for developing the Miracle League here. Mr. Legursky did an excellent job outlining what he felt the expectation would be. I believe we were of help and would expect a more detailed proposal in the future. Yesterday afternoon, I attended the reception for Deputy County Attorney Teresa Tybo. I was sad to hear that Teresa would be leaving us, but very happy to wish her the best in her move to a similar position in Campbell County that will allow her to be closer to her family. She will certainly be missed. After my earlier meeting with Director Legursky, we had our end of month discussion. The report that he sent us yesterday afternoon was quite detailed and much longer than usual. Therefore, I will dispense with the normal reading of his full report and not subject you to my normal exceptional oratory skills and the reading of his report. I did, after finishing my report yesterday, however, here's some news that I felt I wanted to comment on. After finishing the comments yesterday, I learned of the passing of Pete Rose, the all-time base hits leader in Major League Baseball. I was saddened by this news. I believe that Pete was arguably one of the best baseball players of all time. I believe that he should have been a first ballot selection to the Baseball Hall of Fame, if not for his exemplary play on the field, then for the fact that he was willing to give an autograph to a 12-year-old Boston Red Sox fan from Green River, Wyoming, that happened to be watching the Cincinnati Reds play the San Francisco Giants at Candlestick Park in the summer of 1972. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would stand for any questions.
Thanks, Commissioner. Appreciate your report. Any questions for Commissioner Slaughter? If not, I wasn't going to bring up the bromance, but since you went there, I'm feeling better about things too. I was kind of getting concerned. Seems like you guys weren't getting together as often, so that's good that things are back.
Yeah. Glad to keep you happy, Mr. Chairman.
No, nice work as always, commissioners. Busy couple weeks, but we'll keep moving forward. Hard to believe it's already October 1st. With that, it's going to move us right along, and we're just a little bit behind, but doing pretty good. To tab B, which is the action and presentation items. First up is the door lock project change order number 2. With us this morning is Purchasing Director Marty Dernovich, as well as IT Director Tim Knight. Good morning to you both.
Morning, Commissioners. So in your packet, I'm sure to have to bring that down. Based on our last meeting and our discussion in executive session, we had sent a letter to the contractor spelling out the change order, offering them extended time of 41 days, which was Monday, yesterday, to complete the entire project with the punch list. I will let IT Director and Project Manager Tim elaborate on that. But the change order is in your packet for board's approval and signature.
Thanks, Marty.
Okay, as of last week, they did complete all the punch list items. There are some things we're gonna continue to work on to try to improve the system, but the punch list is done and they're complete as far as the job's concerned, so.
Okay. So everything's wrapped up and good to go.
Yep.
Questions on the change order, commissioners? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the door lock project change order number 2. There's no financial change. It's simply an extension of the timeline.
Mr. Chairman, I would make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tillman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. Appreciate your guys' assistance with that.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next on the agenda is the Pat Trap sale update, and we'll hand it back to Marty.
So Commissioners, as you are aware, you authorized the sale of some excess pat traps that we had at our rec department at the Trap Club. We held that sale. We opened the bids. The bids were due last Thursday at 5. We opened them Friday. Keep thinking we're in last week. On Friday at 10 o'clock. And I do have the results, and I do apologize that I didn't get these in the packet or email it to you, but
Thank you.
all the copy of
Thanks, Marty.
the figures and the results. So, just so the board knows, every trap received a bid. The front page is the summary. The total amount was $10,720.70. We awarded all those bids. All traps have been paid for and all have been picked up. So the sale is closed, done, complete, moved on. Only thing I have to do is give Mr. Mark the money as soon as I'm done here today. So
Great.
any questions on that?
Questions, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, just a comment. I'd like to thank Marty for being willing to do this and being willing to do a separate sale of surplus items. I was somewhat surprised at what we were able to raise from this sale. I was anticipating maybe $3,000 to $5,000. We did 2 to 3 times that. So I think it was a good thing to do this. I think we got some of the pat traps out to those entities that had requested information on them, and hopefully it will be benefit to those schools and to their youth and help them out with respect to their goals in doing better with their trap programs. So once again, thank you.
Yeah, well said. We appreciate your assistance with this, Marty. I know that's a lot that goes into it and making sure everything's organized and clean and cut, and sounds like it went smooth. So what more can we ask for? And I think it's a fair process in this at the same
Exactly.
time. So thank you very much for
Mhm.
assisting us with that. Any other comments, questions, commissioners? Do we need to approve this, or is it just kind of an update? Because we
Just
already
an-
approved it.
just an update.
Okay. Well, thanks for putting that together.
Mhm.
The next item is the approval of the new postage machine lease for both the Rock Springs and Green River postal machines. We'll hand it back to Marty.
So Commissioners, this is another one of the hats that we wear in my department. We maintain and manage the 2 postage machines, one here at the courthouse, and there's one in our building for the Rock Springs offices. When I started here, everybody just either bought stamps, the clerk and the treasurer shared a meter. There was one downstairs. We were paying out the nose for different meters, and so we consolidated all of that, put one big machine in the basement here, put one in the Rock Springs area. So we just had 2 machines, and we can run reports. We track the usage for each department. My staff loads the postage monies onto the machines and we give the monthly reports to the county clerk's office, so each department's charged for the postage. But with that, you cannot own the meter itself, so we have to lease the machines, and that's what this is. We're currently ending our lease that we're currently in. It ends in December. But the Quadient has a program that it's why wait? And so we will, with renewing the new lease that is before you, we will get those machines in November and we won't start making those lease payments. I have them set for quarterly payments, just like we're currently making. This is in the budget. I've already spoke with Clerk Lane and we budgeted knowing that this was coming up. So that money's in the budget for this update. Unfortunately, it did go up after 5 years, $938 over the course of the 5-year lease. That's the difference from the current lease we're in. This is for 2 machines again. We're also adding, Mark had come to us with a question about, with the plates going out this year, about a program that you can, how do I want to say this? So you can run the barcode labels and print it and it saves us money on the postage. So we're pretty much, I hate to say this, we're doing the post office's job by putting this label on and it's all barcoded. It saves us almost, 80 cents a shipment out. So we talked to our supplier of the postage. Our machines have that capability. There's no charge for the software. We're going to start it with Mark's office with the plates, and then we're going to expand it to everybody, allow everybody to use that. You can print the labels right on your printer, tape them on your envelopes, send them out. So, but with that, the postage lease before you, the total cost, excuse me, it ends up being $82,767 over a course of 60 months. We will pay $5,517 a quarter. And with that, there will be one more document for the postage for the new thing, and it's no cost, but there'll be one more document that's not in your packet. After they receive the lease, then we get that document for the chairman to sign. I hope that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Marty.
Mhm.
Sounds like there's just 2 machines. Wasn't there one in HHS before or no?
That's the community nursings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Questions on the lease agreement, commissioners?
Quick
Commissioner Slaughter?
question, Marty. Excellent idea on putting the postage on ourselves. You said it would be about 80 cents per pair of plates that we're doing. What's the current rate? Just out of curiosity for me on what it's going to be to send out plates.
Wasn't it like $5.70? Yeah. And
So we can cut that down below $5 in doing that.
It'll end up being like $4.10 or
Yeah,
something like that.
that's huge with the number of plates that we send out. So
Yes.
yeah, once again, commend you on doing so, Mark and Marty. Excellent. Once again, savings, every penny counts and
Yeah.
it will be a big benefit. So may take a little bit more labor to do it. We can handle that.
That's okay. And we're going to try and work out the bugs. And once they get the machines, we're going to have Mark and them run some samples. And then once we get the bugs worked out, then we'll open it up. And I know like the clerk sends bigger packages. I know our coroners send blood samples and that will save them considerable amount of money as well.
Excellent.
So I think it will help everybody in the long run.
Very good.
I do have a
Mr.
question.
Tillman?
So the 82,000, does that include the actual postage too, or just the machine?
That's just the machine
Oh.
rentals and the maintenance of the machine
Oh my
rentals.
gosh, that is bizarre.
Yeah, it is. They're not cheap.
Other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the new postage machine lease for both Rock Springs and Green River locations as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Slaughter. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Richards. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous.
Thank you,
Thanks, Marty.
commissioners.
Appreciate everything.
Mhm.
Commissioners, with that, the next on the agenda, we are now 15 minutes ahead of schedule, which is always a win. We'll take a quick break here. I'll let Gene get up here. He's got a few items. So let's just take a 10-minute break and we'll try and resume at 10:10 if Gene's ready.
people have done. And I think the talent overshadowed that because I think you are one of the top 5.
We are back from break. It's a little bit longer than 10 minutes. Sorry about that. But where we left off under tab B in the action and presentation items was item number 5, which is the funding agreement between the Wyoming Energy Authority and Sweetwater County Commission for the Energy Roads Project. With us this morning to go over it is Public Works Director Gene Legursky.
Thank you, Chairman West, fellow commissioners. What you have before you is an agreement between the Wyoming Energy Authority and Sweetwater County to pay a 1-to-1 match on what we're going to use it for is the power plant road. The first 1.5 miles has fallen apart and we need to completely reconstruct that. When we initially submitted this back in February 6th of 2023, when I first contacted Mr. Luthi, there was more money in the pot and we had actually attacked 2 roads, the first mile out at Wamsutter and the whole entire roadway out to the power plant. However, because of funding constraints and timing and other money going elsewhere, this was reduced, but we're thankful for the 1-to-1 match. It'll actually make this project possible.
Thanks, Gene. So I was trying to remember that because wasn't it around 10 million and it was
10
kind of a
million and
Campbell,
then
Sweetwater.
Campbell County, Sweetwater took it and Campbell County used some of theirs and then some of other disappeared and
Gotcha.
and then Mr. Luthi left and then Mr. Krieger got on board, which was great, but then his person that was dealing with it left him and it's been a, like I said,
Okay.
February 6th, 2023 was my first email. So long time coming, but it's money.
Well, yes. Thanks for staying with it and every penny helps. So I'm
Yep.
definitely thankful for that. Any questions on the funding agreement, commissioners? And if I read it right, this will be for the first couple miles of 9 Mile.
Yeah,
it sounds
basically
like.
the first like 1.3 miles and then the rest, but we're going to try to put a chip seal, basically past the first quarter cattle guard when you go around the corner. But that'll be out of fuel tax. Our match will come out of fuel tax with
Okay.
Forios also.
There's a BLM update if you want one.
If there's no other questions, commissioners, I'd entertain a motion to approve the funding agreement between the Wyoming Energy Authority and Sweetwater County Commission for the Energy Roads Project in the amount of $1,540,285.70 and allow the chairman to sign all necessary documents.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Slaughter. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. Moving right along to item number 6, we've got the award of the ARPA grant HHS 1134 Southwest Counseling Home Project. We'll hand it back to Gene.
So this is project number 3 of 4 for the Southwest Counseling that we're involved in. The first 2, if you read my report, are kind of off and running. As far as project goes, there's a lot of lead time items. This was a project that was actually originally bid over budget. We only had 1 contractor again. So we kind of went back to the drawing board with SLIB, Melissa Ray Marchetti with Southwest Counseling. And we got together, we called SLIB and said, hey, is there a way if we cut some of the project out without taking the intent of the grant down? Can we do this? And they're like, well, what are you thinking? We're like, well, there's some exterior concrete that is needed, but it doesn't affect the project. We can do that underneath something else. And they said, sure. So what we did is got with the contractor, removed the exterior concrete, got within the budget of the grant and move forward. So it took us a little bit extra to sign this, but there was a lot of negotiation back and forth and making sure SLIB was comfortable with everything.
Sounds good. I know originally wasn't the plan the first 2 projects were under. And so
Yeah.
the question of whether or not they could use that money, probably a no-go.
So yeah, the first 2 projects, just so the board knows, were under about 300,000. And we were hoping that project 1 and 2 could pay for the overage on 3 and 4. And they said, no. They said, send it back to the state if you don't use it.
Of
So
course.
we're gonna make sure we use it.
Very good. Questions on this award, commissioners?
Just, Mr. Chairman, just a question on the first page, which is the contract. It shows the total bid as being $893,000, but that we're awarding the contract for $958,000.
Yeah, so what'll happen is that's the DDEC will award the contract and there'll be a change order right away to actually reduce that amount.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, basically the bottom line is the award will be underfunded or under the fund amount by $26,187.
Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the award of the ARPA grant HHS 1134 Southwest Counseling Home Project to Shepherd Construction Solutions in the amount of $893,000 and allow the chairman to sign all necessary documents.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Jones. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Richards. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thanks, Gene.
Chairman,
Commissioner.
while I have Gene
Richards.
here, I just wanted to say, everywhere I go in the community, I get compliments on the work that was done on CR1. It's not just folks from McKinnon, it's people who recreate in the area, it's people who work and have to drive through there. And everywhere I go, compliments stream in on the work that was done out there. And I just want to commend you and your staff for organizing all that. I know you're not the ones that were out there with shovels, but you told them where to dig. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Gene.
Not a shovel, but a rake. Rakes, you can rake asphalt a lot easier than you can shovel it. So thank you. I appreciate that. I'll pass that on to everybody.
Yeah, no, I think your report that you sent out certainly identifies there's a lot going on in your department, and kudos to you for staying on top of it all. It's a busy time with all these different projects, and
Okay.
I know you're getting relied on heavily from, some of the other component units that, utilize your skills and talents, especially when it comes to capital improvements. So appreciate you helping us
No,
out.
and I think everybody's finally getting on board with that. So it should make for better overall buildings for the county. So that's the
Very
main
good.
So thank you.
Thanks, Gene. Next under tab B is item number 7. We've got the annual financial statements and expenditures and receipts. With us still this morning is Clerk Lane.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. First, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to host Waco and for all the kind words. For a while there, I was wondering what I was thinking, asking to bid on that during the middle of an election year, but we managed. And after everything happened, Sweetwater County put together, Sally and I would kind of high five as we're going along. Last thing I worried about was playing bingo, music bingo, but that seems to have been a hit. We were a little worried about that. We're like, are they going to like it or not? But it seems like they did. So thank you again for allowing that to happen here. And I would like to do a thank you to Christina Marshall, who helped us write a grant, a local grant that got us most of the funding to put on the welcome reception and to do the registration bags. And that Spicer Pavilion is amazing. And we must have done something right this year to get such beautiful weather.
Yeah.
That was also a worry, but we got that done. So we're looking forward to putting it on again next year. We're trying to figure out how do we top ourselves now, but we'll figure it out. But before you, I have the receipts and expenditures for Sweetwater County. Statute 183515 says that we will publish in the newspaper the receipts and expenditures. This comes after the abstract is completed for Sweetwater County, which we have done. I did get a notice from Jeremiah Ryman of WCCA that Sweetwater County Clerk is on the list of not having things completed. So I called the Department of Audit yesterday because I know we have it all done. And she said, yeah, Sweetwater County's completed as of September 20th. We have till the 30th to get it done. So not sure why. Last year it was the treasurer was on the list. This year it's me. We're not sure why, but just so you know, Sweetwater County does have all of its paperwork in and it's completed. This is the last piece of that. We do have to publish just an overview of our expenditures and receipts that goes in the paper. And I would just need the chairman to sign that so I can get that published if you approve.
Very good. Thanks, Clerk Lane. Any questions on these reports, commissioners? If not, I would entertain a motion to, I guess it was advertise?
Yes, I have to advertise it. yes.
Advertise the annual financial statements of expenditures and receipts and allow the chairman to sign as presented.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Toman.
I will make that motion.
Got a motion by Commissioner Toman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous.
Great, Thank
Thanks,
you.
Clerk Lane. Appreciate it. Moving right along to item number 8, we've got the University of Wyoming Extension Memorandum of Understanding discussion. And at this time, I'll hand it over to Commissioner Slaughter.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. After our last meeting with the UW Extension, and we had the special meeting, I was directed to sit down in further conversations with their representatives to try and hammer out an MOU. And in doing so, we had put forth an MOU, and then Attorney De Leon had also done some red line additions to that MOU, which he believed would make it a stronger contract for our position and wouldn't really affect what the UW Extension was trying to do with the contract. So the first comment that Bridger Phase made in our meeting was that they were pretty adamant that they didn't want to make changes to the original contract. So we did go through the red line issues on our contract. We talked about them. I told him I felt like there are some things within the red line version that would strengthen their contract as a whole. His argument is that they are using the same contract for 23 counties and the Indian reservation that they deal with, and that they didn't want to have a separate contract. My argument was that we don't represent the other 23 counties or the Indian reservation. We represent Sweetwater County. But in talking further with Attorney De Leon, I think we are comfortable with the original MOU that was done. There are a couple of changes which were done prior to John's red line version that were put into that contract. The one thing that I am somewhat concerned with, and I don't know how the rest of you feel about it, but it is the term of the contract. And if you look, excuse me, I've got two contracts together here, it looks like. On the final page, the effective date would be July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2028. So a long-term contract with doing this. They also included the MOU would be reviewed annually or revised whenever all or any part of the provisions become imperative, or it requires additional provisions or changes in the existing program. That is to pacify us with respect to the fact that we could make changes if we need to. I would really think that we would be better off going with that contract, but using just a one-year contract for our first attempt. And in good faith, after having the meetings with them, I think we are going to have better relations with the UW Extension. But I just think that we would be better. I think it would strengthen our position slightly to just do this as a one-year contract with the intent that we would then do a long-term contract if everything went as is expected. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would turn it over to you and see if there are any questions which I may answer or where we may go from here.
Thanks, Commissioner. I appreciate you taking the time to get together with Bridger. I thought the workshop we had with UW Extension was very effective, and I don't know why sometimes you have to kind of put everything aside and sit down and get down to the nuts and bolts of everything, but nonetheless, it proved to have some positive effects. So I think moving forward, everyone should have a clearer understanding. I agree. I've read through both of them, and I too don't like the 4 or 5 year contract. So I support your suggestion there. Any other feedback, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I would then make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the University of Wyoming and the Sweetwater County Board of County Commissioners with the expiration date change on this, with the effective date being July 1st, 2024 through through June 30th, 2025.
We do have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the University of Wyoming and Sweetwater County Board of County Commissioners, altering the effective date to begin July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Motion has been moved by Commissioner Slaughter. Do we have a second?
I would second that.
Second by Commissioner Tillman. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. Also with that, commissioners, we had, as mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, we amended the agenda here to include the compensation agreement. Obviously, originally there was two, but they have a vacancy. So at break, I passed around to you the annual compensation agreement for Tracy Meets. And I believe everything reads okay, other than there's a whereas clause, the final whereas clause in there that states that the university and county have entered into a memorandum of understanding dated July 1st, 2022. If we could just alter that to read July 1st, 2024, that will coincide with the MOU that we just approved. And I would ask if any of you have any questions or further comments on that compensation agreement. If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the annual compensation agreement with the noted change as presented.
I would make that motion.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Tillman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Richards. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner Tillman.
I would just reiterate again that we had a very good work session with UW Extension, and I just want to let the public know that, and I think we have good relations with this commission and the UW Extension. And it'll be better going forward, so thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we do have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. Commissioners, I did want to bring up, during that workshop, there was, I guess, some further education on some of the different positions that University of Wyoming can provide. We talked about the agriculture and natural resources position, or the community vitality and health position. Obviously, they've been kind of waiting for us to give some direction on that. If I got the correct sense in that workshop, it seemed like we were all on board with the community vitality and health. And then during those conversations, they also discussed that they were adding a potential, I guess, opportunity and or position with an AmeriCorps coordinator. And so I think, to provide clarity to the extension office, it would be beneficial to suggest both of those positions that we're in support of, so that there's no further confusion moving forward, since we're ironing out everything else. So I assume everyone's on board with those positions, but I'd open that up for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I think that would be an excellent move to let them know that those are the positions that we are interested in. And just to keep those channels of communication open by doing so.
Any other thoughts? Good.
Mr. Chairman, I agree. I pulled all of the entities I liaise with. They were pretty split between an ag position and a community vitality and health position. I lean towards the community vitality and health position, and it's a win-win with the AmeriCorps position.
I also support them.
Yeah, I think it makes good sense, and it sounds like they've had good success. And I believe our surrounding regions have the agriculture and natural resources positions currently. So I think, in speaking with UW Extension, it sounds like it'd be beneficial to have a CVH position here, because a lot of times they'll travel to different regions to help out as needed too. So with that, I guess, just ask for, I'd entertain a motion to move forward with supporting University of Wyoming Extension in their efforts to provide a community vitality and health position, as well as any AmeriCorps coordinator that may come along.
Mr. Chairman, I make that
Commissioner
motion.
Richards. Got a motion by Commissioner Richards. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion's unanimous. Thanks again, Commissioner Slaughter. With that, that's going to bring us to our final item. I do not see anyone here, but if they show up, we'll give them some time and get a picture with them. This was kind of a last minute addition, but a very important one at that. So we wanted to try and squeeze it in there. And the proclamation reads, whereas the YWCA of Sweetwater County recognizes and participates in a public awareness campaign to support National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an excellent opportunity for citizens to learn more about preventing domestic violence and to show support for the organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy, services, and assistance to victims. And on average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. During 1 year, this equates to more than 10 million women and men. And domestic violence can take the form of physical, emotional, sexual, and financial abuse. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men in the United States have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. And too often, the victims of domestic violence are children who can have lifelong repercussions from the emotional or physical trauma of being exposed to domestic violence. Domestic violence survivors and their advocates in Sweetwater County have rallied to the cause of the victim justice, and the government and citizens of Sweetwater County fully recognize the need to treat victims with dignity and compassion. Now, therefore, we, the Sweetwater County Board of County Commissioners, hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month and call upon our citizens to stand together against domestic violence and offer support and understanding to survivors. In an effort to raise awareness for this important issue, the YWCA will host the second annual Purple Glow Run/Walk on October 11th, 2024, beginning at 6:30 p.m. The event will include a memorial for victims who have died because of violence through the Silent Witness Memorial and a family-friendly 5K walk and run with a purple glow in the dark theme. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve this proclamation.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Toman.
I would make that motion.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Toman. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Mr. Chairman, I would
Motion
just,
is unanimous. Commissioner Toman.
yes, I would just add that domestic violence shelter is the only one in the county, and it is run by YWCA.
Very good. Well, unfortunately, they're not here, but we'll be sure to get them a copy of the proclamation. Certainly important to recognize, and we appreciate everything they do. With that, commissioners, there is no further business to come before this board. This meeting stands adjourned.